Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Traxxas TQ-I controller. We're going to talk about some of its features and some of its error codes. We're also going to spend a little bit of time talking about their complicated menu system within this radio and why you may want to add the Bluetooth module to ease that frustration. The TQ-I controller from Traxxas is a 2.4 GHz controller. It features the multifunction knob, the TQ-I logo, the two red buttons on the top, and the place in the back so that you can install your Bluetooth module. The TQ-I controller requires the use of a TQ-I receiver. Using the incorrect receiver will result in a failed binding. Also on the table we have the Bluetooth module here. This will install in the back of the controller so that you can use a Bluetooth module to adjust its parameters. And over here on the bottom is our test box. We covered this in the last video. Our test box uses a speed controller, a motor, a battery pack, a servo, and a receiver. Now that receiver belongs to an old version of the Traxxas controller. This 27 MHz controller is quite dated, and if you have one of these, it's probably time for an upgrade. We're going to start our troubleshooting by talking about the most common error that we see. It's actually in the controller. This error happens when we have batteries that are too weak, and you'll notice the controller turn on and start blinking red. This is a solid indicator that it's time to replace your batteries. The next error we see is actually in the receiver. So the receiver, there's an LED light here. When the receiver does not have a bind to a transmitter, that LED light will begin blinking. And I'll show you that now by plugging a battery in. And you'll notice the light will come on red. It's searching for a transmitter, and then will begin blinking as an error that it did not find one. Sometimes we see an error code in the transmitter where this light will begin blinking, and that light blinking is a good indicator that the firmware update that happens when you first link your transmitter to your Bluetooth module has failed. Many times that is easily solved by just running the software update again, but sometimes it does require you to send it back to Traxxas for an update. If you do have an error in the receiver where the light is blinking and cannot seem to find a transmitter, then it might be time to rebind your transmitter and receiver. That's a fairly simple process, as we just hold the set button on the controller, power it on for blinking light. There is a link button on the receiver just here in front of my thumb. We'll hold this button and power the receiver on, and this will cause the system to go into bind. The solid green light on the receiver and the solid green light on the transmitter indicates that the bind is successful. For some reason, Traxxas chose not to include the default model profiles with the instruction manual. I have an old version of that manual here which features those adjustments. Because this is an older version of the manual, it does not include the most current models, so naturally you may have to call Traxxas to get your default profile. Should you need to adjust something in the controller, there's a rather complicated menu structure. This is included in the manual. Fortunately, Traxxas included a convenient graph system here which will let you adjust a specific item with a straightforward instruction. As a pro tip, when you get ready to adjust your controller, have this graph in front of you. You can use two sheets of paper in order to identify the line item that you're trying to adjust. So let's say that I wanted to adjust the direction of the steering servo. I can use these pages to highlight just the line that I'm trying to adjust. This way I can avoid confusion of having to look at the entire graph. To adjust the direction of the steering servo, the instructions tells us to press and hold the menu button until it blinks. Press the menu button so that we see two green blinks. Press the set button and we'll see a green light. Press the set button and we'll see a red light. And press the set button and we'll see 8 blinks confirming that the setting has been changed. As a demonstration purpose, I'll go ahead and show you how to do that on this controller. So we'll start by powering on the controller. We'll hold the menu button until the light blinks. We'll press the menu button to see 2 blinks. We'll press the set button to see a green blink. We'll press the set button again to see a red blink. We'll press the Set button to finally see 8 blinks confirming its setting. The TQ-I controller also features the multifunction knob, which can be set up to do many things within your controller, including steering sensitivities, throttle sensitivities, steering percentages, braking percentages, and throttle trims, all of which can be adjusted by utilizing their complicated menu system. But to ease the frustration of that, the Bluetooth module will certainly help you with that. This module will allow you to use a smartphone app to adjust all the features within your controller. Installing the Bluetooth module is a fairly simple process. You'll simply open the box, remove the Bluetooth module, as well as its contents of the box. In here is included a small screw and a tool in order to remove the original door, as well as install the Bluetooth module. On the back of the controller, you'll find the sticker covers the door that you'll need to remove to install this Bluetooth module. I simply make a cut and remove the screw that is located here, and finally remove the door. You'll grab the Bluetooth module, and you'll notice that there are pins at the bottom that will align with the pins in the bottom of your transmitter. You'll very carefully install this, making sure that it seats properly, because if you askew it, it'll bend the pins underneath. And then you'll replace the screw that holds the door in. Now when you power on your transmitter, you'll notice that this light doesn't quite come on just yet, but there's a step we need to do first. If you haven't already installed the Traxxas Link App, you'll need to do that now. Once the app is installed and you open the app, you'll be met with this video that plays on the screen. You can simply press the screen and it will skip. Now to properly link your transmitter and your receiver, you'll press the link button up here up top, and it will give you instructions on how to put your Bluetooth module into Bluetooth link mode. You'll start by powering on your transmitter and pressing this button here in the center of your link module, and then pressing the blue box here to start the link process. You'll give it its permissions and try again. You know your transmitter has been connected to your link because this icon up here will turn green. It will also give you a battery level indicator. Before you do any firmware updates, you need to make sure that it sees the receiver. Right now, I don't have a receiver connected, so we'll go ahead and take care of that. Using our test box and our battery pack, once we power up the receiver, you'll see that the app is now updating, and it sees both the transmitter and the receiver. You want to make sure that everything has got a good charge here before you update the firmware, because if something dies in the middle, the firmware update will fail, and that may cause you to have to send your system back to Traxxas. Once you proceed with the update, it will take some time, so make sure that you give it its time that it needs to update. I'm going to pause the video here, and I'll be back once it finishes its update to show you the rest of the features. Alright, so it appears that all of the updates have been finished, and you'll get a screen that looks like this. So it says leave the update screen, and then you'll have access to the app in its entirety. As far as your tour goes, this is actually a pretty cool system. So under your dashboard, you'll have things like telemetry. Keep in mind you do have to purchase these telemetry modules separately because they do not come with the Bluetooth module. Those telemetry sensors will also need to have mounts, so they are pretty specific to the model. So it's another expense that you'll have to endure. By far the most beneficial sensor is going to be your temperature sensor. You'll notice as I touch the screen here, you can add more sensors if you get the telemetry expander kit, and that is another add-on. Going back to the home screen, you'll see under your profiles here, your profiles can be saved and loaded, so that if you wanted to change something and not lose your previous setting, you have that option. Under Select Model, you can actually add models, remove models, duplicate models. So you can expand your radio's capability by just simply adding models. Your training mode is located here as well, so you can actually turn on your training mode. But we'll save this for later because I actually have a better suggestion once you have this app. Under your Media tab here, you can save recordings and various other things. I've never used this feature, so I can't give you too much advice on how to use this. Under your garage setting here, you have various menus. Your DTS1 is an old drag timing system that Traxxas has discontinued. Now down here at the bottom is a channel setup. And once we go here, you can access your steering, your throttle, and your other channels. Under throttle, you'll notice this knob right down here at the bottom. This is your maximum throttle input. So you remember what I said about the training mode, how I have a better suggestion. This allows you to select a number for your training mode so you can really dial this in for the user. Your servo reverse buttons are up here up top, and those also exist under the steering as well, so if you need to adjust those. If we back up here, we'll go to our drive effects, and you'll notice there's your steering sensitivity, throttle sensitivity, steering percentages, braking percentages, and throttle trims. Now you'll notice these little circles over here. These circles will actually turn your multifunction knob onto whatever setting you're trying to set it to. So when we're talking about programming, this is much easier than navigating those menus that we tried to do before. There's also a support tab should you need contact numbers for Traxxas. That's your basics of how to use the Bluetooth app, as well as how to install that Bluetooth module, and some basic troubleshooting guides and help. You have officially made it through what is likely to be the longest video we have made thus far, and if you've made it this far, I applaud your effort. Please subscribe so you can get notifications on new videos and let us know that you want us to continue doing videos. Thank you very much for watching our video, and I hope you have benefited from it in some way, and we'll see you in the next one.